Hi there. Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we're looking for growth within our practice. Essentially, we're playing with one circuit, and each time we repeat a particular exercise, we're going to tweak it slightly, looking for notes of growth. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest as often as need be. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set ourselves up standing slightly towards the back end of the mat. And for the first exercise set, I'd like you to find just a comfortable parallel stack of your feet, preferably feet stacking underneath your hips. Stand up as tall as you can, drop the arms long and heavy at your side, and then extend the right leg out in front of you, bracing slightly into the heel and giving me a slight turnout position on the foot. The heel is more or less in line with your hip or maybe slightly wider than your hip. Arms are either relaxed at your side or you can brace them on your hips. You're going to cross over the midline of the body and come back to your start position, keeping that soft brace into the heel and keeping the leg as extended as you can. Think of that little piece of string through the belly button that we played with earlier on in the week and find that little tug across the midline of the body. Then you're going to essentially repeat the same movement but out to the side. So start with your heel hovering just off the floor, off the center of your right hip. You're going to float the leg out to the side and back. Front view, you're just going to float the leg out and back, out and back. Trying to keep that heel hovering off the floor and trying to keep that parallel stance on your grounding leg. Last one, same movement, but we're going to do it to the back. So the heel is still hovering off the floor. You're going to think modified arabesque, keeping that brace into your foot. Weight is slightly leaning forward now. Let's do two more, then we'll shake it up and we'll do the other side. Give your legs a little shake up. Find your parallel stance, either hip width distance apart or maybe just inside of hip width distance apart. Extend the leg out at hip height, or rather in line with your hip. Brace softly into the heel, cross over the midline and come back. Slight turnout position on the front one. Crossing over the midline and coming back to your floating heel position. Same movement, but let's take it out to the side. So in line with your hip, start with that heel hovering just off the floor. Kick up slightly higher and float back to your start position. If you need to, tap that heel softly to the floor to find your grounding. Otherwise, try to keep the heel hovering off the floor for all three exercises, front, side, and back. All right, let's take it to the back. Keeping that heel floating just off the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Shake it up. Legs are still in that soft parallel line. Hands braced on your hips or just relaxed at your side. You're going to float up onto the toes and then bring it all the way down to the mat. Up onto the toes, all the way down. As you come back down, I want you to come back down as slowly as you can. And as the whole foot starts connecting to the mat, I want you to almost claw through your feet and squeeze up the energy, drawing it up along your feet, up along the inner thighs, and then carry that squeeze through to the lower belly area as if you were zippering up everything from your big toe towards your belly button line. Let's do two more. Last one, we're going to take it into a roll down from here. Start with your chin line parallel to the floor. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Start hollowing out your belly as if you were stretching over a big ball. Roll it down as far as you can. And then keeping that hollow belly, you're going to restack and realign. Keeping that parallel stance, so all 10 toes are looking to the front of the mat. Use your breath. Inhale to prepare. Use a whole exhale to peel down with control. Take a recovery inhale and then use a whole exhale to restack and realign. As you come up, you think of the alignment in your body and you think of lining up first knees over ankles, then hips over knees, then shoulders over hips. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll use the last roll down to find our way into a plank line, and you might need to readjust yourself on the plank if you're on the tall side to have enough room to extend your legs. Maybe when you hit the tabletop line, bending the knees, walking out, the hands and the feet if you need to find your way into a plank hold. And I want you to hold steady for a slow count of 10, trying to keep your body line as parallel to the mat as you can without collapsing through the shoulders, without collapsing through the belly. So whole body is engaged, you're pushing the mat strongly away, your core is braced, your legs are working. Then bend the knees and come into a high kneeling frame, keeping the toes tucked under with your feet stacking behind your knees, so don't pigeon toe in or out. Start for the first set and try to keep your palms connected to the top of your thighs as you come into a slow camel lean. Dip off the center line, pause, look for length, and then float back to your start position. As slow and as controlled as you can. Try to find an additional stretch from your kneecaps all the way through to your belly button line. Keep those toes tucked under if you can, so that you are not only supporting your frame, but getting an additional stretch into the undercarriage of your feet. Sync your movement to your breath and don't rush it. Let's do 1 more. Come into a high kneeling stack. Keep the toes tucked under or relax them and open up your arms into a little cactus frame. Elbows in line with your shoulders. Tap the 2 elbows together and then bring it back to your start position. As you tap the elbows together, allow the palms to look in towards your face. Try to keep that high kneeling frame, so shoulders over hips, hips over knees. Don't rush it. Squeeze the 2 elbows together, and then as you open up, push with the back of your elbows as if you were resisting an imaginary weight. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll find our way from here into 4-point kneeling. As you complete the last one, come back to 4-point kneeling on the mat, hands stacking underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Make sure that the weight distribution is equal on both hands. You're going to start by hovering the left knee just off the floor. Extend the leg out to about hip height and draw back to your hovering knee position. Extend and draw back. Try to even out the weight distribution on the 3 points of contact on the mat and try not to drop your head. So keep your gaze down on the mat between your 2 thumbs. 1 more on this side, then we're going to repeat on the right. Find your tabletop position, hover the right knee off the floor. Float the leg back, extending it, and then drawing back into a hovering knee position. Keep your weight distribution equal On your 3 points of contact, keep your neckline long and keep your belly button pulled in to center. 2 more. Then we're going to anchor the legs and we're going to play with the arms. Keep your 4-point kneeling frame. Hover the left palm just off the mat. Float to extend the arm up in line with your ear and come back to a hovering palm position. Try to even out the weight distribution on your 3 points of contact. Keep your neckline long. Keep your spine long. Keep your belly button pulled in. 1 more on this side, then we're going to change arms. Find your hovering position. Float the arm up in line with your ear and come back to your hovering palm. Spine long. Belly button pulled in. Weight distribution equal. Two more, and then we're going to find our way from here into a deep squat before we come into a seat. Ground both hands. Step your legs out one at a time, allowing the feet to softly splay out. You're going to come into a deep squat, making a cactus frame with your arms and actively using your elbow points to push the 2 knees apart. Just hang here for a bit, looking for an almost heaviness through your pelvis, as if your pelvis was sinking towards the floor, and at the same time try to grow your spine towards the ceiling. Ease your way from here into a seat. We're going to come straight into a little boat hold, maybe bracing just behind your thighs. Hold for a count of 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. You're going to give me 1 full back, hollow out your belly. So make sure that you're holding behind your thighs. Pretend somebody's throwing a ball at your belly. Give me a hollow hold and reach long through your fingertips, long through your toes. Your lower back is imprinted. Weight is off the shoulders, about 2 fingers of air between your chin and your chest. Then bend the knees, coming into a tabletop position, and go straight into a 100, keeping that scoop position on the mat. So your lower back stays imprinted, weight stays off the shoulders, core stays braced. Vigorously pump the arms up and down as you inhale for a count of 5 and exhale for a count of 5. So the breathing pattern is inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that scoop position. Tuck both hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion, resting the weight of your head into your hands, and extend the legs to 90, giving me a small scissoring action, or if you're feeling strong, you can give me a bigger range of motion and hover that leg just off the floor. Small or big, try to keep your scoop position so your belly should be burning right now. Last one. Float your legs into a tabletop position. Drop the arms at your side. Relax the head and the shoulders to the mat. Keeping the feet and the knees squeezed together. You're going to drop both knees off center to the left. Pause. Inhale, bring it back. Take it to the right. Bring it back. Find your slow moving metronome. Don't rush the movement. Look for a little bit of work through the obliques. So you should be feeling a nice tugging sensation from the top of your rib cage on the oblique towards your hip line. One more to each side. Then we'll extend the legs to 90. You can keep the arms at your side or tuck them underneath your bum. Give me a soft brace into the feet. Give me a halfway drop and slowly pull back to your start position. Try to keep the work in the lower abdominals. Try not to tense your jawline or your neck. Just a halfway drop And then as slowly as you can, pulling back to your start position. Keep your core braced. Let's do 3 more, and then we'll take it from here into rolling like a ball, and we'll just do 5 rolls, trying to tuck the body into as tight a ball as you can comfortably manage. Bend at the knees, either holding behind the shins or around, behind the thighs or around your knees, maybe softly bracing on the shins. You're going to rock up and down. Just 5 little rocks, rounding out the spine, pretending somebody's pushing on your sternum so that you're hollowing out your belly. And then use momentum on the last one to push on your hands. If you need to, walk your way forward, slide your feet slightly back, come into a parallel line. Give me a soft bend and extend through the legs, fingertips on the floor, or maybe palms on your shin bones or the top of your thighs as you bend and extend through the legs, holding a slight forward fold position and looking for a little bit of length in the back. We're going to come back to our original start position. So look at your feet. Feet are either stacking underneath your hips, or you can bring them in slightly so that there may be 2 or 3 toes space between the 2 legs. Ragdoll style, peel back up to your start position. Arms at your side, or maybe hands braced in your hips. This time, as you float the right leg out, you're going to give me a soft toe. Toe is maybe just a little bit wider than your hip. And you're just going to cross over the midline of the body and come back to your start position. Maybe softly tapping that toe to the mat, or maybe hovering the toe just off the mat. So front view, foot is slightly wider than your hip, crossing over the midline of the body and coming back to your start position. Soft toe line this time. Let's change it up and let's take it to the side. So in line with your other ankle, you're going to float up and tap back down. Keeping that soft toe line, either tapping softly to the mat or hovering that toe just off the mat as it comes back. One more like this, then we're going to find a soft arabesque line. So starting just behind your hip line, you're going to float the leg up and tap back out. Or you can keep the toe hovering off the floor. Try to keep that slightly parallel line on your grounding leg. Just looking for subtle tweaks every time we repeat a particular exercise set. All right, let's bring it back into parallel, shake it out. Let's do the same on the other side. Front first, then side, then back. Find your tap out position, float across the midline of the body and come back. Visualize that little piece of string that you're tugging through the belly button to drive that action. Let's do one more like this. Then we'll find our tap out position on the side, floating up to tap back out. Or keep that toe hovering just off the floor for even more work. Looking for those subtle notes of growth. All right, one more to the side and then we'll take it to the back. Find your tap out position behind you. Float the leg up and back down. Two more, and we'll shake it out. As you complete the last one, come back to your start position, shake the legs up. Hands on your hips, so arms just relaxed at your side. You're going to float up onto the toes, and this time hover your heels just off the floor. Floating up and down, grounding through all 10 metatarsals and not allowing your heels to anchor this round. Almost thinking of bobbing your head to the ceiling and then floating back down. So you need to squeeze the energy between your inner thighs together, almost as if you had a yoga block between the two thighs. As you complete the last one, bring your heels together into a little Pilates V and give me a few roll downs from the V position. So a lot more inner and outer thigh engagement this time, starting with your chin line parallel to the floor. Inhale to prepare, use the whole exhale to peel down with control. Recovery inhalation, hollow out your belly. Keep the turnout position as you restack and realign. Find a steady rhythm of your own. Make sure that you're using your core, using your spine. As you come down on the last one, you're going to find your way into a plank line. So maybe when you hit the tabletop position in V, you can soften your knees, think plie, connect your hands to the mat, and then step back your legs one at a time, coming into your plank hold. Either holding steady for a slow count of maybe 10 or 20, or drawing the knee across the midline as if you wanted to say hello to your opposite elbow with your knee. Trying to keep your body line as parallel to the mat as you can. So trying not to pike up out of the plank line or to drop your belly through the plank line. You're going to find your way from here into a high kneeling frame. Drop your knees, keep your toes tucked under. Set up your high kneel, keep the toes tucked under. You're going to dip off the center line, floating the arms up in line with your shoulders, and then back down again. Slow and controlled. Looking for that stretch from your kneecaps all the way to your belly button line. Slow and controlled. Let's do 2 more. And we'll end in the high kneeling frame. You can relax the bridges of your feet to the mat. Find your cactus frame. Start by bringing the elbows together in front of you. Keep your elbows tapped together. So keep squeezing. Palms are looking in to the center line. You're just going to tap your fingertips to the ceiling and then bring your elbows back to your start position. So you're trying to keep your elbows and your forearms sandwiched together along the midline of the body as you just tap your fingertips to the ceiling and then bring your elbows back to your start position. Last one. Come back to a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Find your tabletop line, hover the left knee off the floor. Kick the leg behind you, tap to the mat, and then draw back to your hovering knee position. So extend, tap, hover your knee. Extend, tap, hover your knee. Find a rhythm of your own. Try to notice what you're doing with the weight distribution in your body. So try to keep your weight distribution even amongst your 3 points of contact. If you need to, you can surreptitiously slide or walk your arms out slightly so that it feels like you're not hanging all of your weight into one arm. Let's do one more on this side and then we'll change sides. Find your tabletop line, hover your right knee, extend, tap, and slide back. Extend, tap, hover. Extend, tap, hover. Extend, tap, hover. Find your rhythm. Check that your spine stays nice and long and that you haven't dropped your neck through the tabletop line. Let's do 2 more on this side, and then we'll bring the work to the arms. Find your tabletop line. Float the left, hover the left palm just off the mat, float up in line with your ear, and then bring it out to a half T and float back to your start position. So bringing it up, taking it out to the side, and then retracing your path back. Trying not to collapse your frame on your stabilizing arm. So you keep pushing the mat strongly away. You're trying to keep the integrity of the tabletop line without popping and rotating through the shoulders or the hips. Let's do 1 more on this side, and then we'll change sides. Find your table, float the right arm up, take it out to 90, and then retrace your path back to hovering. Keep the integrity of that long line through the spine. Keep your belly button fused to your spine. Keep pushing the mat away with your stabilizing arm. And try to even out the weight distribution on your 3 points of contact on the mat. Let's do 2 more sets, and then we'll find our way into a deep squat, and we'll add to the deep squat. So hands on the floor. You can even come onto the tips of your fingers if you need to make enough room to step your legs out to the side, allowing them to splay slightly out. Bend your elbows, find your cactus arms, push your elbow points into the inside of your knees, front view. You're going to hold the squat line. You're going to take your right arm, place it flush against the right leg, and just take a little opening twist to the left without allowing the knees to fall in. So keep pretending somebody's pushing them out. Hold for a few soft counts, and then we'll repeat on the other side. Come back to your cactus line, push your elbow points, place your left arm flush on the inside of your left leg, and just take a soft twist, opening up to the other side. Come back to your little cactus squat. You're going to find your way into a boat hold. So maybe bring your hands behind you, sit on the bum, find your little boat. Make sure you've got enough room. You're going to hold your boat. Then you're going to give me a fall back into a U frame, and we'll play with the legs. So find that connection to the core. Give me a slow fall back. And maybe keeping that U frame, just flutter kick the legs one on top of the other. Trying to keep that scoop position. So your lower back, mid back, trying to imprint, hollow belly, weight off the shoulders. Then coming to a 100 from here, palms up. Either working from the tabletop position or extending the legs at a 75-degree angle. Palms are up this time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 more to go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either coming to a surrender position or keeping the arms at your side. You can give me a little scissoring action. Maybe let's reach for the back chain of the leg as you work your scissor. Let's do 2 more sets, and then we'll tick-tock from here. So as you complete your last one, extend both legs to the ceiling, arms at your side or hands tucked underneath the bum. You're going to drop just off the center line to the left, come back Take it to the right, come back. So now you've got a long metronome leg line. If this is too much, bend the knees and drop the knees off center as you find your tick-tock pattern. So play where you're comfortable, either legs in an extended tick-tock or use a bent knee modification that we played with in the first round. Feel that little stretch on the obliques. Make sure you're activating. All right, let's take it into a drop down. So you're going to brace softly into your heels. You're either going to drop halfway or all the way down and slowly back to your start position. Either halfway or all the way down. Hands are relaxed at your side, palm down, or you can tuck the hands, palms down underneath your bum, or you could even wedge a hand towel underneath your bottom if you need a little bit of support. Try to keep the work in your belly center and not to transfer any tension to your shoulder line and your jaw line. Slow and controlled. Make that lower belly burn. All right, let's do 2 more. Then we're going to come into those rolling like a ball and we'll add a little toe tap. Bend your knees, find a soft tabletop position, bracing behind the thighs or maybe around the knees, maybe gently cupping the shin bones. You're going to rock up, tap your toes to the mat and then rock back. So just adding almost a little soft boat line tap of your toes to the mat before rolling again. On your last one, push into your hands, walk your weight forward, maybe slide the legs subtly back. You're going to give me a V position this time on the feet as you bend and extend through the knees. Either keeping hands on the floor or maybe hands softly connected to your shins or maybe at the top of your thighs. Keep your V position so the heels are together and the toes are softly splayed out. Keep the turnout position. Ragdoll style, peel up. Keep that turnout position. Place your hands on your hips. You're going to think of the soft toe line leg lift that we played with in the previous round, but you're going to give me a soft knee. So I'll give you a side view and then a front view. You're going to keep your legs soft little bend in the knee. You're going to cross over the midline of the body, take it out to the side and back, and you're going to try to move through those 3 points with fluidity, keeping the turnout position. So up, side, back, keeping a soft knee. And just oscillating dynamically between those 3 points. So coming front, side, back, front, side, back, front, side, back. Let's do 2 more on this side. And if you need to, you can just lean into a piece of furniture, find your turnout position. Let's repeat on side 2. Find your sit-up frame, giving me front, side, back, front, side, back. Keeping a soft knee line and just trying to float dynamically between those 3 points. Let's do 2 more. We'll end back in the V position. Hands stay on the hips or you can drop them to your side. You're going to float up onto the toes. And this time, bend the knees and come back. So you're trying to keep that high, almost mini plie line with your heels never touching the floor as you bend at the knees and then extend. So keep that high toe line. A little bit more work for the legs, the glutes, inner thighs, outer thighs. All right, last one. You're going to come back to your V position, drop the arms at your side. Give me one roll down from the V position. As you come back up, restack, realign, and find your standing position. Bring the feet into parallel. Then give me one roll down on the parallel line. Lead back up, retrace your path. Once you're restacked and realigned, bring the heels together and find your V position. Then roll down from V. Peel back up. As soon as you're stacked, open up your heels and come back into parallel. So you're alternating the roll down from the parallel and the V line. Every time you stack, you change your heel position, floating them in for the V and then floating them back out to find your parallel stance. Finding a gentle rhythm of your own. You don't need to stay at my pace. Just find a roll down rhythm that works for you, alternating your heel line every time you restack. I'd like you to try to end in the parallel line. So let's do the last roll down from a parallel stance. When you hit about the tabletop line, bend at the knees, connect your hands to the mat, step back into your plank line, either just holding a plank for a slow count of maybe 20, or you're going to give me a kick through. So you're going to think knee to opposite elbow, and then you're going to float the leg and the arm off and try to tap or kick the hand and the foot together. So opposite hand to foot, giving me a little kick through. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. As you complete your last one, you're going to find your way into a high kneeling frame, keeping your toes tucked under. Find your high kneeling stack. Start with the fingertips maybe softly connected to your palms. As you lean back, you're going to float the arms all the way up in line with your ears and then slowly draw back to your start position. Looking for that long stretch from your kneecaps all the way through the tops of your thighs, making your way towards your belly button. Keep the toes tucked under. Sync your movement to your breath. Let's do 2 more. And then we will end in a high kneeling frame. Relax the feet. And we'll find our little cactus set up with the arms. Bring the 2 elbows together in front. Keep the elbows high. Palms are looking into the center line. You're going to drop the arms back and come back to your start position. So you're almost thinking of presenting a serving tray and then bringing it back. Trying to keep the elbows and the forearms sandwiched together. Trying not to drop the elbow line, so trying to keep your elbows more or less in line with your shoulders. Let's just shoot for 3 more, and then we'll find our way into quadruped or 4-point kneeling from here. Set up your tabletop line on the mat. You're going to hover the left knee off the floor, extend the leg behind you, tap to the mat, and then squeeze into the center line before retracing your path back. So it's 1 tap, squeeze into the center line, draw back to hovering. Kick up into table, tap, squeeze. We're just going to do 5 sets. Extending to tap, squeeze, and retrace. Last one on this side. Make sure that your weight distribution is equal. Hover your right knee. Float up into table, tap, squeeze, and retrace to hovering. Keep that long line through the spine. Keep resisting the mat with your 3 points of contact. Last one. Find your tabletop line. Hover your left palm off the floor. Bring it up in line with your ear, and then this time sweep it all the way back as if you wanted to tap the hip and retrace your path back to hovering. So you're almost giving me a beautiful arcing motion through the arm. And once again, just 5 sets, trying to keep that tabletop line, your 3 points of contact, equally distributing your weight. Let's change sides. Right palm hovers, bring it up, float it all the way back, and then retrace your path back to hovering. Shooting for 5 repetitions, keep pushing the mat strongly away on your anchoring arm. Try to keep that sense of length through the neck and the spine. Belly button softly pulled in so your belly is not hanging on the floor. Then ease your way into a deep squat from here, either hands flat on the mat or coming onto your spider fingers as you step your feet out to the side of the room. Find your cactus arms, push with your elbow points. Then drop the right palm, arm flush against the inside of your leg, and this time just give me a swim back and try to grab your opposite hip. So you're rotating the palm in as you grab your opposite hip and just look up towards the sky. Ease your way back into your cactus line. Use those elbow points. Let's do the same on the left. Drop the left palm to the mat, flush against your leg. You're going to swim or sweep the right arm back, rotating the palm in to reach for the opposite hip. You're going to ease your way from here back into cactus. We're going to come into a little boat hold, one full back, and then we'll play with the legs. Find your boat line. Make sure you've got enough room to play behind you. Hollow out your belly, fall back. This time, as you crisscross the legs, you're going to float them up to 90 and back down. Just shooting for 5 repetitions. Crisscross, flutter kicking the legs up and down while trying to keep that hollow frame on the mat. All right, so let's bring the legs into table. We're going to do a 100 from here as we bend and extend the legs. So the breathing pattern and the arm motion stays the same. You're just going to bend and extend the legs. So inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 2 more sets. Then trying to keep the scoop position, or you can tuck the hands behind your head. We're going to work that scissoring motion, trying to keep your arms hovering alongside the body this time. Playing small or big, try to keep your lower and your mid back scooped, weight off your shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Then float the legs up to 90, connect your head and your shoulders, drop the arms at your side or tuck the hands underneath your bottom. You're going to brace softly into your feet. This time you're going to come down slightly on the oblique, whether it's halfway just to the side of your left knee and back, and then the same on the right. You're going to give me 5 sets. If you're strong, you're going to give me a wider range of motion coming just off the center line on the left, and just on the center line on the right. Slow and controlled, a slight oblique bit of work. Don't rush it. Draw back to center, maybe just bend those knees. Let's skip the lower back, a little cradle rock. And then you're going to think of that tick-tock we played with, and you can mix it up. You can either execute from table and just drop your knees tick-tock side to side, or you can use the extended line as you tick-tock, or you can add a circling motion. So tracing clockwise around, let's say, a soccer ball, and then anti-clockwise. You can use a little bit wider of a circle if you need to, but try to keep your circle within the outer confines of your mat, so you're not working bigger than the outer lines of your mat. Whether you're tick-tocking or whether you're circling out. Let's do one more set. Then we'll find that rolling like a ball. We'll add a tap and a leg extension this time. Tuck into your little ball, bracing behind the thighs, or maybe wrapping around the knees, whichever feels the most comfortable for you. You're going to rock up. Give me a tap, extend, and then rock. Tap, extend, rock. Tap, extend, rock. Let's do one more. Then gently walk your way forward. This time, you're going to give me a narrow stance on the feet if you can. So big toes flush against each other as you bend and extend through the legs. Fingertips connected to the mat, or maybe hands on your shin bones, or perhaps on the top of your thighs. Then maybe holding the forward fold and just hanging here. Trying to keep that narrow stance, so big toes together, ankles flush, maybe spider fingertips, maybe flat hands, maybe you're resting on the shin bones, maybe you're resting on the top of your thighs. Keep squeezing the energy between the inner thighs together. And then keeping that narrow stance, soften through the knees, ragdoll style, as slowly as you can, keeping your core contracted. You're going to peel back up. You're going to restack, realign your body. Maybe just bring it into a gentle back bend, placing both hands on your lower back, stretching through the lower belly. And then bring your hands to prayer to end off your playtime. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Shoot me your comments. Make sure your notifications are on. Be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.